Hi, this is Ron Gannett from Community Church, and over the last several weeks, we've been asking ourselves, what does it mean to really believe in the God of heaven? You know, we all have a lot of questions, and I think one of the most misunderstood questions is, am I good enough to get to heaven? Somehow, someone has convinced us that my good works have to outweigh my bad works. And if my bad works outweigh my good works, I must be toast when it comes to eternity and what God has to say. Well, if you go back and look at these videos in days gone by, you'll see that we started off by saying that there are four aspects to faith. First, you have to hear. Secondly, in your head, you have to decide, is it true or false? Thirdly, you have to make a commitment in your heart. But today, I'd like to show us how the real balance between faith and works works, because our heart has to reveal itself in our hands. You see, works does not make me acceptable to God. My hands, the way I live my life, only demonstrates the reality on the outside, what is on the inside in my heart. You know, it's amazing. In James chapter 2, James takes an argument and says, some people say it's all about faith. Some people say it's all about works. He said, don't you know that faith without works is dead? He said, oh, you show me your faith without your works. I will show you my faith, what is in my heart every day by the way I live out, the way I love the Lord. You know, James talks in his book on several topics that tell us how we can demonstrate our faith. He talks about through suffering. He talks about temptation. He talks about anger. He talks about my tongue and the things I say about people. He talks about how I handle my wealth. He talks about how I am willing to trust God in difficult moments. He talks about, am I willing to pray and depend upon God? All of these outward experiences with our hands are simply ways to show people what is in our heart. They don't change us. They don't save us. They really reflect what is inside of us, the fact that we have made a commitment to the God of heaven. You know, this morning I was in a small group of men and we were talking about how can we impact our next generation. We have children, we have grandchildren that may be ignoring the call of God upon their life. And I said, it comes back to us. Truth is like cream. It always rises to the top. And if I will live with my hands what I believe in my heart, God will allow that to resonate in their lives, even when I am gone. I remember a man used to come to hear me preach in church, and you can tell he's uncomfortable, hadn't been in church in a long time, if ever. But I'd go out the foyer and try to shake hands, and I could tell by his body language he didn't want to interact with me. But one day I heard he was sick and in the hospital, and he had been diagnosed with a terminal cancer. And I went to see him, and I walked in the hospital room. I was shocked to see a Bible sitting on the table beside his bed. And I walked in and I said, John, what's with the Bible? He said, Pastor, he said, I used to walk into church. I used to hear you and others preach, and I would sit there and take pot shots and sort of scorn and laugh and ignore what you were saying. But I'll tell you, when I got this cancer, it's like God opened my eyes, opened my ears, opened my heart, and I told him, I said, God, whatever time I have left, I want it for you, and I want to give to my children the stuff I never gave them before. And from that moment till the day he died, that he was a changed man. He wanted those he loved to see a new person on the outside because of the belief and the faith that God used to change him on the inside. And the faith factor can do that for you. The question is, have you heard? Is it in your head where you believe it is so true that you must in your heart believe it, and then with your hands reveal it to the world? My friends, God by faith has called us home to himself so that we can do for others what he did by his grace for us. So my friends, if you have the faith factor, there is no fear. You have confidence today, and you have confidence forevermore.